Hey everyone, thanks for watching. My name is Trent. This is Rams Talk. Thank you for joining the training camp roster cut downs 2020s. The season gonna happen. Who's on the team? What do practice squads look like? Edition. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. For all the new subscribers, thank you for jumping on board. For all the old and legacy subscribers, I love you guys and gals. Thank you for watching. As always, if you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. Love to hear what you have to say. I just dropped an episode about training camp starting, what that means, key dates, what's going on there, since I feel like nothing's happening, but still so many things are happening. But now I want to talk about the practice squad and the roster cuts, because it's different. It's all new. This is a whole new deal, whole new season. Rules are changing, things are changing, but yet nothing seems like it's happening. So yes, you can also follow me on Twitter at Real LA Rams Talk, on Instagram at LA Rams Talk, and also I just joined the Fan to Fan Network, FTFN. Right, so you'll see the in the comment section and even in the description of this video how to find that out. Essentially, it's a bunch of people like me for all the respective teams. We've got Colts, we've got Titans, Niners, Cardinals, Seahawks. I mean, you name the team, there's someone like me doing their spiel. So if you want to know about these other teams, go check it out. I mean, essentially, if you just like football and you want to hear inside stuff about other teams and even NFL draft stuff, Fan to Fan Network. Okay, so let's get into this. So essentially, because the new realization in the world and in sports about people getting infected with the coronavirus, the NFL made a change to its practice squad roster size, bumping it from 12 up to 16. So what was before a 53-man roster with a 12-man practice squad and more flexible rules already pre-corona for how you bring players up and activate players. So the final roster size would be, I include practice squad, because when I look at everyone making the cut and everyone on the roster at the moment, I think of what is the active roster plus practice squad size. So everyone that's making it, right? So even if you're on the practice squad, I count that as making it. So now with Corona, instead of having, I believe it is, it was 55 plus 12, so it was 67 man. Now it's going to be a 71 man total roster, which is crazy. So the Rams made two cuts. They were at 89. Chandler Brewer opted out of the season, offensive lineman, because he's high risk. So that brought it down to 88. Then they did 2 rounds of cuts, because essentially once all teams hit training camp, if they're over 80 men or 80 players on the roster, they have to split the team up into 2 groups. So you cannot have more than 80 players, I think, there at the same time. And the natural date to cut rosters down to 80 players is August 16th, I think. So the Rams could have waited till August 16th and cut down to 80, but then they would have had to have 2 groups. But they opted for the 1 group plan. So they cut those last 8 guys to get down to 80 right before training camp started so they could have 1 group. So the first cut they made was there were 2 guys that were kind of a surprise to be like the first 2 of the 4 that were let go, and that was Greg Dortch, who is a wide receiver who they had in the practice squad from last year. He's a burner, punt returner out of Wake Forest. So I thought he had an actual shot to make the team based on his pedigree as a returner, but he was one of the first guys cut. So Greg Dortch is no longer with the Rams. And then also Jake Gervase. So he was a safety who played in a couple games last year, undrafted free agent. He was also let go. And I'm guessing maybe those guys were let go as early as they were because the Rams knew they weren't going to keep him, but they wanted to give them enough time to latch onto a team because they legitimately have a shot because at least for Gervas, he has some NFL experience, right? The other 2 guys were Nate Trewyn and Ethan Wolf, tight end Ethan Wolf, and center Nate Trewyn. So those 4 were the first 4 cuts. So now they were down to from 88 to 84, and then they just made another cut, and those were all current undrafted free agents from this year. There's linebacker Daniel Batuli out of Tennessee, who is a late addition undrafted free agent. I thought things were normal, I thought there'd be a really good competition between Rosenboom and what's his name? I totally spaced on just spaced on him. Oh no, Brian London II. Sorry about that. I had it backwards, like Lion Brundon II. So then you have Daniel Batuli has been cut. Running back Justin Gilbert from Kansas State. So I didn't think he was gonna make the roster anyway. So he's cut free, leaving Xavier Jones, and then defensive end Greg Reeves out of South Florida, and didn't think he was going to make the roster anyways. And then defensive tackle out of Minnesota, Sam Renner. So those 4 guys have been cut. If you watch one of my previous videos, you can see my analysis on the undrafted free agents, offense and defensive side. So those 8 guys are gone, including Chandler Brewer. So the Rams are down to 80. So if you go to subscribe to they only need to get down to 71 really for the practice squad. That's 9 more guys that will need to be cut. And there's a big list, and I was looking. And at first, if I thought it was going to be 65 or 67 players, then you're like, ooh, some guys are kind of really on the bubble. But when you only have to cut 9 more guys, and no offense to those guys, it doesn't seem like that hard of a situation, right? So I could read all the names. I'll just read all the names. Why I've got them all right here. So you have at center Coleman Shelton, then the cornerbacks, lots of cornerbacks. Deion Lake, Levanta Taylor, Adonis Alexander, and Tyreek McGee. I think Tyreek McGee is probably cut, and I think Coleman Shelton, the center, is probably cut. Defensive line, Eric Banks, Michael Hoyt, Jonah Williams, Marquise Copeland. I think Eric Banks is probably going to get cut. And then you have 3 kickers. I think they'll probably keep one on the practice squad just in case. The guy I think is going to make it is Liram Hirulahu. Yeah, I'll talk about him in the next episode. Cool story there. But I think he makes it, and I think it's down to Austin McGinnis and Sam Sloman for the, if they keep another guy, it'll be between those guys. Probably Adam McGinnis is gone. I don't know. Then you have at linebacker Brian London II, who I forgot his name. You have Troy Reeder, who I think is a bubble player. But right now I have both of those guys along with Chase Rosenboom at least being on the practice squad. Then offensive lineman Cole Cabral out of Arizona State. I think he makes the team. Then you have Jamil Denby and Jeremiah Colon, who I think Jeremiah Colon is probably going to get cut. Who knows about Denby? But Colon I think is a goner. Outside linebacker on the bubble, Justin Lawler and Ja'Kai Polite. Really haven't seen much of Ja'Kai Polite in the NFL, so have no idea if he's improved. He was kind of a blue chip prospect. And then you have Justin Lawler, who played okay but was injured for a lot of last year. So who knows what he's bringing to the table. Also, one guy I forgot to mention is Morgan Fox, but I think he makes the roster. I'm not too worried about that. Running back, I think there's going to be a battle between Xavier Jones and John Kelly, and I just have a feeling Xavier Jones is the guy, even though Kelly's been an assistant for a couple of years. I think if it's pure talent, Xavier Jones. But if you're looking for someone who doesn't need to learn a lot, then it's John Kelly. So that'll be interesting. Tight end Kendall Blanton. I don't see any other tight ends making this team other than Everett, Munt, Higbee, and Hopkins. And then you have wide receivers. Right now, 10 guys on the roster. So I think that they're going to cut at least 3 of those guys to leave 7. I think 7's a good number, including guys on the practice squad. So I think it's J.J. Koski, Ernest Edwards, and Aesop Winston Jr. are going to be 3 bubble guys that probably go. But, I mean, out of all those guys I listed, they're really, you only need to cut 9. And then the other guys can make the practice squad if they clear a waiver. So the Rams are not in a bad situation. Having those 4 additional spots, actually 6 additional spots, because they already expanded the practice squad from 10 to 12 and then 12 to 16. So basically having 6 extra spots. And this is because if COVID ravages the team, then you need more guys to fill in, right? You need to have a deeper bench. So this gives the Rams a deeper bench and less hard decisions when it comes time to cut guys. So it'll be interesting to see which position groups they really decide to clear out. So yeah. Also, when it comes to the practice squad, you can keep veterans, guys who have. It doesn't just have to be like first or second year players. You can keep guys with longer experience on the practice squad, and there are more activations. You can activate more guys. So there's just a lot more flexibility based on what's going on. So I don't know who else out there is tracking the current Rams roster, and it's hard to really say what's going on when there aren't any practices or no one's playing. So you don't really have a preseason game or a training camp or a hard knocks to really see for yourself, who's really having a tough time and who's excelling. And or even really know what the coaches want, position group wise. So yeah, that's it. Let me know who you think out of these names, or any guys that you think will definitely make it or might get cut or on the bubble. Let me know what you think, because on the 5th is basically when they announce their 53-man roster, 55-man roster, and then on the 6th is when they build the practice squad and get guys off of waivers. So we still have a month from now before that happens. But yeah, anyways, that's it. That's the latest in the Rams roster and the cuts and the roster size. So everyone who made it has got to feel a sigh of relief and feel that they have somewhat of a chance moving forward, because they actually get to compete in front of the Rams coaches. So yeah. Anyways, if you haven't subscribed, please do so. If you want to find out more about these undrafted free agents, watch the videos popping up around here. Follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram, and let me know what you think. So it's fun to talk Rams. Hopefully we see some things shortly. Thanks for watching, and as always, go Rams. Still looks good.